There we go. Warm myself down. My name is LASSO'S Passions, and this is a vlog entry, July 17th, 2025. Honestly, I dozed off. I fell asleep for a minute, and I missed out on posting one more video before the midnight hour is up. I did get about 5,000 views from one video, which is good. I mean, I literally passed out. I was so tired, I passed out for about an hour, and I woke up just now. And one of the main reasons I got up was because I was worried about my cat, or else I would have kept sleeping, to be honest. I got up, and lo and behold, my cat was outside. And so he's good. He's good. My poison ivy is much better. Much better. Although there's little remnants of the scars of that was once, poison ivy is starting to become nothing more than just little remnants of it. There's a little irritation right here. That's about it. And right here. Other than that, I'm doing pretty decently well. I wanted to get up and get on and actually do this and actually get it done because, I don't know, I just wanted to. I said I was going to do it, and when I say I'm going to do something, I stick to it. So yesterday was interesting, really interesting, because it didn't go the way I thought it would go, but I did okay, just the same with viewership. I could have gotten maybe potentially a little bit more views had I been up posting one more time. I could have potentially had a huge bounce, but I fell asleep. I was tired, and now who knows if I would have gotten that big bounce or not, but it's okay. I needed the sleep. I mean, I've been hitting it pretty hard, so. But one thing I did notice, I noticed two differences back to back, looking at the 2 days back to back of how the morning went, and I'm reassessing what it is I'm going to post and how, and I'm actually thinking about doing something where I alternate between Seinfeld clips and like random clips in the morning, and then doing straight out, finish the evening with some more Seinfeld clips. I don't know though, because I'm like I said, I'm still trying to figure out a method to this madness, So, always fun being in the trenches and doing whatever you can to spark creativity, spark motivation, spark anything, right? Sometimes when you're just tired, it takes a minute. I'm gonna do a little smoke sesh. For those who don't know, I apologize in advance. I sometimes bust out a little pre-rolled smoke on camera. I have my medical license, marijuana license, and I use that to go down to the dispensary down the block and buy myself some pre-rolls. And then I light up. And the most important thing is I tell people it's not cool, and for educational purposes, I'm smoking it and whatnot. Get that out of the way. But I've been smoking for a long time, so, let me just state that, get that out of the way. Hey, what's up? We got a comment. Maximum Dip. What's up, buddy? How's your evening going tonight? Yeah, YouTube is a lot tougher than I thought, for sure. I had a friend of mine say that YouTube was going to eat me alive. It's kind of a rude comment, to be honest, to say something like that, but I understand why somebody would say that. Now, being on YouTube for just a few months, honestly, not too bad. Still trying to figure it out. I think every day I just get disconnected. The YouTube that we knew years ago isn't the YouTube we know today. I mean, the things that go viral today aren't the things that go viral yesterday and go viral tomorrow. That's why it's an organic thing that's always molding and changing. You know, it's pretty interesting. And like I've done some YouTube research on people who've been successful, and a lot of times they say, well, this guy shouldn't have been successful because he's not doing anything the experts are necessarily saying, but yeah, he was able to succeed because he tapped in his personality really tapped into to people liking him and the algorithm liking what he did and whatever you want to call it, YouTube liking what he did. So I don't know. It's a big wild west. It's a little scary, too. Hey, what up? What up, Sage? YT. How's life? How's your evening going? Everything going okay? Anybody have any questions from the discussion earlier? I had a podcast episode of the discussions that I do over focus and how important that can be, and part of the aspect of being a high achieving person, achieving your goals. Yeah, you're good. That's good. That's good to hear. I'm pretty good too. And ever since I started this YouTube journey in maximum dip. Good to hear. I'm great. No complaints really. I'm a little tired. But that's a good sign because that means I'm working my butt off. And you got to. Especially when you're older. You can't just sit around like you used to as a kid and be lazy in front of the TV and watch it. You know, you really got to be doing something with yourselves. Right? I'm trying to do something with myself. I've done plenty of stuff. Comment below some of the most interesting things you've been doing. Let me know. I want to hear about it. Like for example, I was in a stage play July 5th. This month I had a show. That was fun. Last month I had a show. Next month I have 2 shows coming up in August at the play, The Drunkard, I'm doing at the Spotlight Theater on Riverside, Tulsa. It's scary. It can be scary. But one thing's for sure is when that date gets a little closer, I feel the pressure to start training and stuff. I watch sports. The biggest sport I used to watch was basketball. Huge basketball fan. I don't know what it is. I'll watch soccer, some football, some offbeat sports here and there. But like for whatever reason, basketball is really my thing. But honestly, the biggest time in my life that I was a big basketball fan was like years ago, like decades ago, like in the 90s when I was a kid. I was a little tweed lad. I was born in 96. No, 86. I was born in 86. Yeah, not 96, 86. So I lived through that period where Michael Jordan was huge. I was a kid watching Michael Jordan play. It was amazing. And I was living in Miami, Florida with my parents at the time. And the reason I got into the Bulls is because I watched the Miami Heat play Chicago Bulls. And I instantly became a fan of Jordan, Nice. Oh, yeah, hockey. I'm a fan of hockey. Yeah, ice hockey. Especially back in the day. Let's see. There was the Detroit Red Wings. Boston Penguins. Is that right? Trying to remember some of the teams. I used to play on you guys remember Sega Genesis and all that stuff? Yeah, we used to play with my brothers some hockey games on there. But yeah, I'm still a fan of basketball. Oklahoma has a team that's grown to be pretty important. Thunder, the Oklahoma Thunder, Oklahoma City. So they've brought back a little bit of that spark back into the sport. I was visiting Oklahoma City not too long ago. Last month, I was part of a group. There's a company I work for called Paint the Town, and I led well, I didn't lead it, but I kind of did, because without me, it would have been a complete failure. But I kept it all together, kept it going, organized it really well. But it was a sold out event. It was pretty cool. I love visiting Oklahoma City. It's a beautiful little city. Blue State.
Travis A, what up? What now? Blue MT State kicker.
Sure about football? I thought about making some clips, some highlight sport clips. I don't know. But honestly, like, at the end of the day, my biggest passions are like following my acting and stuff and music and stuff like that. I still do a lot of like workout stuff, even though I don't play any sports. I still work out. I still do what I call maintenance, because like I do jumping jacks, jump ropes, push-ups, pull-ups. I do weight lifting and things like that. Not to an intense degree, but it's good to maintain your body and all that. So I do plan on getting a little bit bigger on the muscle side. It's all about just increasing the weight when you work out. Right now, I just work out with a 25. Back a year ago, I got up to doing. I was weightlifting 50 pounds, like a dumbbell, which was pretty intense for a guy my size. Because I'm like 5. What am I? 5'6". I'm not the tallest lad in the room.
Hey man, thanks
for subscribing. Something I do on the channel is I'm a fan of a lot of shows, but I guess currently one of the biggest shows I'm a fan of is Seinfeld. I don't know why. It's just the goofiest show. Straight up with like my uncle or something. You know what I mean? It's just very close to home because I'm Italian. So not that I condone anything that those people do outside of the show. Some of these comedians are kind of crazy. Although the guy who plays George Costanza, I don't think has ever done anything controversial that I know of. Or like what's that lady's name? The actress Dreyfus, or what's her last name? I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So sometimes I post clips of Seinfeld because I watch it every day, like religiously, and sometimes I find things that are like interesting. Like I'll see something in one episode that like makes me think about something. I go, what were they thinking about here when they were writing this? Because obviously something's going on here. Or I'll just find interesting facts. Like, for example, did you know that in Seinfeld, the first pilot show, there's a line where Seinfeld's talking about a button on a shirt, on George's shirt. Very nonchalant dialogue. I mean, the whole show is both based on just talking and doing nothing, right? So that's one of the first opening dialogues between George and Seinfeld and Jerry about the shirt, how it just looks misplaced on George. And so at the very last episode, the last season, the closing, show, I found it very interesting. It blew my mind when I realized that first line in that pilot season was the last line of the last show. I blew my mind. So I find things like that in the show that, I guess you don't really find unless you watch it obsessively like I do. Anyways.
Oh, really? Hell yeah. High five, man. Yeah, fucking dude.
Sometimes I'm careful to say that because of what happened years ago. He blew up on stage and said some things that were not very good. And of course he apologized, but still like pretty much everybody hated him for it. So sometimes I bring up Seinfeld and some people don't like it because of that. But I agree. What's his name? His name is Michael Richards, right? The actor. It's crazy. Michael, that actor who plays Kramer, earlier in his career, I think before doing Seinfeld, he was in a movie called VHS. I believe it's called VHS. And it was shot in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, in the city I live. And it was with Weird Al Yankovic. He was the star of that movie. And that actor who plays Kramer was in this movie. So if you ever get a chance to watch it, look up that movie VHS with Weird Al Yankovic, and you'll see that that actor, mm, Michael Richards, is that his name? Yeah, is in that movie. He's young. It's funny though because he looks goofy as hell. He still looks goofy. He looks skinny as hell too because he was younger. So he looks skinny. He look even goofier as a skinny, lanky, you know, weirdo. You know, he's just a funny guy. He plays some of these oddball characters, but I just find it very interesting that guy was in a movie that was shot in Oklahoma years ago, and he ended up being pretty famous. You never know in this industry. You never know. But that guy's a really good actor. When you really think about it, at the end of the day, you watch him, you really watch him, you watch what he does, the genius behind his timing, his movement. He's really good at what he does. He's in this other movie called Trial and Error, where he plays an actor who pretends to be a lawyer to cover up for his lawyer friend. It's freaking hilarious. It's so hilarious. Oh my god, it's so funny. Yeah, I got pets. I got a cat. I got a cat and a dog. The cat I'm actually taking care of. It's a gray cat, belongs to she's in California for personal and business. So she's gone. I don't know when she'll be back. I may end up actually traveling by car or Amtrak or something and actually taking the cat to her. That's gonna maybe we'll see. I don't know. It's getting kind of difficult because the longer the cat stays here, the more comfortable the cat becomes, right? Like the cat loves being here, loves being in the yard, and I give him a lot of freedom and like he's well taken care of, you know. And so, but cats are cats; they can do whatever, I guess. They get comfortable wherever. But I'm not the owner of the cat. I'm just taking care of it, you know. So I kind of, in a lot of ways, keep my distance. Anyways, I have a dog named Lolita. She's my baby. She's my favorite. I mean, I treat the cat like if it was mine for sure. You know, I'm not. You know, so and when I have to take you back, it's gonna be sad for sure. I'll be sad. I'll miss Benny. I have a channel actually dedicated to making videos of Benny and Lolita just being themselves. You gotta love animals, man. They're like the purest creatures on earth. I mean, they don't really have any malintentions, really. They're just being and hanging out, and I don't know. Yes, Lolita and Benny. Yeah, I got a channel called Lolita and Benny. I got a lot of channels. Not channels, playlist. I meant to say playlist. I got a playlist. Lolita and Benny, like probably over 30 videos of them just being funny. But I have several playlists. I have a playlist called Root Amps. That's like my punk music that I do on the side. Um, I'd I'll say this though, having pets is it makes me a better person, believe it or not. Am I free to say that? Having pets makes me a better person because I have to take care of them, and over time I just like have a love for them, and it just at the end of the day it makes me like a much better caring person. It's pretty incredible having pets. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, they're cute. It's cute watching them, and it helps my channel. You know, the more views I get, things like that, it helps the channel. Um, you know, what's funny is I'm gonna be completely honest. When I started YouTube, I didn't actually have an interest in growing a channel or views. I literally came to a point in my life that was like just horrible. Everything in every aspect of my life was just going to shit. So I hit rock bottom and just got on YouTube and started ranting because I was in an angry place. I started and reflecting. That was the biggest thing. After like doing a video, whether it was a live or a private, because a lot of times it was private, just for me to just see myself. And I started reflecting, and then I got in the habit of doing this for months, like from November till I would say till mid March. I was dedicating YouTube as a like a therapist, like a personal therapist. And I would actually go on and read books, and the books I read were topics that were related to the things I was struggling in. So if I was struggling in finance, I read a couple books in how to be financially steady. I read which includes like saving techniques and other techniques of making money through interest, compound interest, things like that. Like adult stuff. you know, I just didn't feel like an adult. I'm just being honest. Like I felt like a lost older guy who should have, been able to figure out life earlier, but it didn't happen. For some reason, I just didn't figure out a lot about life until now. But a lot of it has to do with just the books I read. I read 20 books, believe it or not. I read 20 books live, and the subjects matter. All the subject had to do something with what I was struggling with. So yeah, money, relationships, mental health. I read about the brain. I read about eating healthy and all that stuff, and just all kinds of things that I just felt I was lacking. And then suddenly I just started reading about being in alignment and all that and stuff. And so now I try really hard every day to, like, one of the first things I do every morning is to get in alignment with myself, like make sure I'm in a good mood, good place mentally. And then now the midnight vlogs that I started doing is just the evolution of reflecting. Now I just, by the time the end of the day comes, I think back about what was good, what was a success, what didn't work. I'm thinking about in terms of YouTube. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, yeah, wow, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, anybody can do that. I mean, like I said, I was in a place where I had the time to do it, so I was just so depressed. It was crazy. But yeah, I'm in a much better place. I'm just tired right now because I've been busting my butt. Yeah, you got to take care of yourself for sure. You got to. We're getting better at it too. The only thing I struggle, I don't know if I call it a struggle, but I have my marijuana license and I smoke it. Some people would consider that not a good thing, and some people don't care, and some people would consider it a good thing. But either way, it's legal the way I do it. I'm not going out of my way to make it illegal. But I've always smoked it for, it's like, since high school. I've always smoked it like illegally. Yeah, like back in the day it was illegal, but now that it's legal, I do it the right way. And I've never gotten in trouble for it, luckily. But because back in the day, you could get in trouble for it for sure. Especially if you grew it. Oh my God, if you grew it in Oklahoma, it was super illegal back in the day. You'd get in so much trouble. And a lot of people did it. A lot of people did it out in like in the country where like nobody knew anything. Go to these small towns here in Oklahoma, and especially way out in the country where like nobody is. People had fields of marijuana literally in the wild growing. And I met this one dude that he was part of this, little group that was doing this. And he told me he came across an orange-haired Sasquatch that scared the shit out of him, and he never went back to that field. True story. He never went back. He was that scared. He was that terrified of the. What he said was he saw a female Sasquatch by the river, and it didn't take long. He was kind of out in the open. It didn't take long for the male, there was more than one, for the male Sasquatch to notice him, and they got very close to him. And that's when he booked it. He was like, nope, see ya. And when he told me that, I didn't believe him. I'll be honest. I was like, that sounds crazy, dude. Like, I'm having a hard time believing your story. But the way he told it and the way how he was so scared when he was telling it, I kind of had to. And now there's like more videos of Sasquatch being real. There's so many people coming out with stories that it's like, it makes me believe it more. There was recently a video that came out like a week ago on YouTube or something like that, like actual proof of Sasquatch. And who knows, it could be AI generated, but it looks too. It's not that it looks real. It really does look authentic the way it's shot, like with a video. And obviously AI could reproduce something that looks like it was shot, but I don't know, just something about it looked really real. I don't know, but it's hard to say. I mean, we live in a generation now where AI can fool us easily. People can fool us a lot easier with images and whatnot. It's so easy, you know. It's kind of a scary world in a lot of ways, because I mean, there was already a lot of pretentious, unauthentic, made up stuff already out there, but now it's even more. So you almost have to really pick up on the vibrations of truth instead of relying on your eyes. Really rely on your intuition. But it's hard though. Your intuition can mislead you for sure. You can be wrong just basing things on your feelings. You could be wrong for sure. It's easy to be manipulated. I hit a new record today that I'm proud of, on YouTube. So I hit over 200,000 views this month, which is pretty intense for me, being a small YouTuber trying to figure it out, and connecting with people. Connecting with people is, I think, the prime thing for me right now until I can really figure out what the channel's going to really be about. Yeah. I like the idea of doing super chats and stuff like that. They say like once you hit 1,000 subs, or not even 1,000, 500, and then like 3,000, 3,000 watch hours, you get your first perks on YouTube. And that's like to be able to do super chats. That's like to be able to sell shirts and stuff like that. And that's like the next step. I'm really looking forward to that. If I can get there. In my head, I believe I can get there. I think I can get there. I know I can. I'm the kind of guy, once I dedicate myself to something, I go all the way. I got a podcast that I do. Podcast. I mean, it's just me with my phone doing this same exact thing, but there's always a focused discussion topic, right? There's always topics that I talk about. My brother watches it. He says it's interesting. And if he says it's interesting, then it's interesting. He's not going to tell me that it's interesting if it's not. And he's a smart guy. My brother's a smart guy. He's a Joe Rogan fan. So for me to impress him or do something that he finds interesting, I guess is a good sign. I don't know. That's a good sign. Yeah. But yeah, I think I have 14 episodes that I go over various topics to essentially to be a very high achieving person. Little I don't know what you call them, just topics on different things, from just how to navigate through life in general, right? Oh, it's called Discuss It with Lasso. Thanks for asking. Thank you. Thank you for chilling out with me, man. I wish YouTube had, I don't know if they can do this, but it'd be really cool if YouTube had an option. I don't know if they could do this with the super chats or whatnot, but to have you guys on video too would be cool. I can just talk to you guys. Like somebody from the audience could just pop up and go, whoop, hey, how's it going? I'd be like, hey, I'm pretty good. And as an actor, I'm an actor, right? So one of the biggest things we do at the Riverside Theater, the Spotlight Theater, is, first, let me just say that the Spotlight Theater is a very cool place. It's a historical building. It's recognized as a historical building by the city. And the play itself has been going on since 1953 in Tulsa. They rotate actors. They've been rotating 53. And it has a record for being the longest continually running show in the United States. So pretty big deal in that sense. It's a hilarious show. The last two shows I did were pretty full of people, and they're just laughing their butts off, And it's a family-friendly show, which makes it extra special, that a lot of people at any age can experience,
that's the bonus of it all, to be honest. When there's kids there and they're having fun, and the older adults are there, and even like people my age are there cracking up. It's a show. It's one of those rare shows that everybody can actually enjoy. Believe it or not, it's super interactive. It's a very interactive show. Why do I bring it up? Well, because what's really cool about the show is that at the end of it, at the very end, we take our bows. There's a tunnel that goes underneath the stage to the front of the lobby, and so we take the tunnel because we race to get there first before the audience gets there, and so we line up at the lobby. So when the audience comes out, they see us. Surprise! Here we are. And so one by one, we actually greet the people that came. We say thank you. We talk to them. We try to find out more about them and where are they coming from. We come to find out some people travel from Germany to be here. They've traveled from Texas to be here at the show. There's a lot of people that travel from a long ways to be here. And then there's people in Tulsa who have known about it or heard about it or didn't even know about it, and they discover it for the first time and they're just blown away, because it's like a staple. It's like one of those weird things where, like, take Branson for example. They have like Branson's a staple for like Silver Dollar City and their big shows and all that. Well, the Drunkard is like one of those entertainment factors that Tulsa brings to life, that's historical and has that kind of Branson kind of feel to it. And to be honest, I should look into Branson, because that would be as an access somewhere else in a bigger city with entertainment, and I can try to move up from there. I can try like New York, or go to Vegas first, or Atlanta, or Chicago, try my hand at theater there, and then try even bigger after that. Go, like I said, go to New York City, try Broadway. I'm not joking. It sounds ridiculous, but I'm not serious of an actor. I took on this role very seriously. The reason why I was successful at, one of the very few by the way, one of the very few actors in town that can do this, because I don't know many that can do this, to just in a whim pick up a role on stage and be like, all right, I memorized all my lines and cues, let's do it. I'll be honest, it was my way of showing off to everyone around me, because I was a little bit ticked off that, like, people don't take me seriously as an actor. So I was like, you're right, you don't think I'm a good actor, you don't take me seriously, okay, hold my pre-roll container, let me show you what I can do. And that's what that was all about, to be honest. Just people doubting me and this and that. I was like, let me just show you. You guys are all wrong about me, So I come from theater, like, my whole life. I grew up in theater. Like, I did when I was a little kid. I was doing theater and plays and choir recitals and things like that because of the school I was in. So it doesn't just come out of nowhere, But anyways, yeah. If you go to, I got my playlist, my podcast, Discuss It with Lasso, on my channel. You can find it. I'm like I said, I'm still experimenting, but I'm going to be as consistent as I can to come out here and hang out. I even went as far as experimenting with creating an animation. There's this thing, like a series idea called Drunk at the Lake, that started out kind of the joke as a thing on 4th of July. I was just making a joke animation. It was this big dude at the lake getting drunk, and slurring his words, saying Happy 4th of July. And I kept making these funny clips, and then the characters started getting developed, and me being me, a writer in this, it just all came out. And now I have this whole idea for a show called Drunk at the Lake, like a TV animated series along the lines of like King of the Hill, but more so Oklahoma style, like the whole time we're at the lake, hanging out with the people there and the friends and the camaraderie that goes on at lakes, so it's a lot of fun. And I've actually looked into several programs that I could buy that will help my animation. There's one specifically that's really cool. It takes your character that's on the computer screen, and it tracks like certain points on your face, that the like a special camera looks at you or whatever, and it tracks it and implements it into your animation. And so I'm looking into that. I think for an actor, for me, to be able to have a tool like that where I can have a tool animate my characters by using my own features, my own characteristics, and the way I act. And one thing I came to find out, I didn't know I had this talent that I could just I can do multiple voices. I've never tapped into that until I tapped into doing the animation, and I was like, huh, I just pull it out of my ass. Like I can just make voices. I can play old, I can play young, I can play any character. So I was like, this is interesting. So I could literally make a whole animation by myself. Not that I want to, but you know, I could literally spend a few hours a day building this animation, and then eventually when I have enough content, I can make a new channel and release like a pilot season of it and just let it go and see how it does, you know. But yeah, as a creator, I'm always trying to find ways to stay active. That's impressive, says Maximum Depth. Have tried animating, but it is way harder than most people. Yeah, it is way. Yeah, I agree. It's way harder. That's why a program like that, where you can, for me as an actor, to be picked up by a camera that does all the work for me, you know, is key. Is so key, because you're right. It is a lot of work, and I don't have the money to hire animators. I would love to hire an animator and be like, here's a budget for your expenses for the next 6 months. Go work on this every day. You know, don't worry about food, your bills, or anything. We'll cover it. That would be a dream for me to be able to hire people, you know, but you know, as it is now, I don't have any kind of way to hire people or anything. So AI is my best friend until I can figure out a way to actually start hiring people, you know. Yo, what up? Sage is back. What's up, Sage? Welcome. You got what's going on? What's going on in your neck of the woods? Fill us in with something. That way we can get in the conversation. You know, it's funny. This is supposed to be a vlog, so, but what are vlogs really? Blogging, video blogging. But so I know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna wake up bright and early. I have this side of the trailer. I'm in a trailer. I'm in a 30-foot trailer that I got paid for. It's all paid for. Took 5 years. And trailers aren't that super expensive. They can be as expensive as a brand new car, I guess, if you get the right trailer. But worth it. Totally, I love my trailer. Oh my god, I love it. I love my trailer. It's my man cave. It's my space to go over my lines. Like, you know, I'm loud, so I need space. Like, you know, I don't want to be disruptive anywhere else. So the privacy is nice. It's just my creative space, you know. And you need that as a creative. For me, I need a creative space, or else there's no way I can exercise any of my creativity. And if I don't exercise any of my creativity, I get so bummed out. I get depressed. I get bummed out. I just feel unfulfilled, you know, as a human being. So it can be as little as writing some poems, and that's enough to be pretty fulfilled creatively, you know, to have that outlet, you know. YouTube helps. You're in a trailer camping right now? Hell yeah. That's funny. That's badass. Badass. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, you know, what do you agree with me? Do you recommend the trailer life? I do. I fucking love it. You know, I mean, my parents' house isn't too far away from here. I can walk to my mom's house and chill there if I wanted to. But you know, part of me is I want to take this baby on the road, really take it out. Like I was saying, if I ever went to tour because I'm doing theater or whatever, a film project, a music project, whatever, I want to take this beast out on the road. Or if the podcast was actually successful, so that's just something I do on the side that I don't, you know, collectively it'll build up over time, but that's not my main source of anything. If anything, I'm kind of looking at my podcast as a way to build chapters for my book. You know, every section of a book is like a topic, you know, and so every podcast is about an hour long, and I can take the transcript that was said in the entire podcast, print it out or whatever, and use that to build a book. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about, because there's a part of me is thinking about how I'm not trying to rely on YouTube to make money either, but it is nice to have that idea to be I can get monetized. Maximum debt. The transport part is one of the best things for a trailer, in my opinion. Yes, yes, it is. I agree. You can just pick up and go. You know, you can pick up and go. It's kind of a nice feeling. Um, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. But what time is this? Okay, it's only been 40 minutes. So if you guys want me to stay on long, I usually do an hour, and then I go back to sleep. But if you guys want me to stay up longer, I will. Because you guys are actually very nice and very engaging, and I really appreciate that. Again, just find it fulfilling to connect with people. You know, I just do. In real life and the virtual. YouTube is so cool. I've met people in Australia, Philippines, here in the States. There's some people in the States, across the States that I met. A few people in Europe, Japan, even Russia. It's crazy. Whatever I want. You camp every summer for 2 months. That is cool. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Maximum Dad, I appreciate it. You got any camping stories? Any camping stories that I can use for my animation that I'm working on? That's one thing I'm gonna try to do too. Is collect more funny stories from people that I can have permission to use, incorporate into the show. They're really fun. But yeah, tomorrow, before I get sidetracked again, I'm always gonna think about, before I go to bed, I'm gonna set some goals. Tomorrow, what I want to do is, obviously, I'm gonna come up with a topic for the podcast. I mean, I'm thinking about the topic. I'm not sure. It just comes to me. I don't have to think too hard about it. That's the thing. I don't want to think too hard about it. It just come naturally. But yeah, I'll probably have a discussion tomorrow, podcast, and cool. Yeah, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to be consistent. So I do the podcast, starting to daily, and then the vlogging, midnight vlogs daily as well. But yeah, to help connect better, answer questions, and reflect and plan for tomorrow. Tomorrow, get up bright and early. I want to do some workouts. I want to get my jumping jacks and jump ropes and that stuff out of the way, and then I want to fix this room up. There's some issue with electricity in this side of the room I need to look into. But once I'm able to look into that and get power back, I want to really spruce it up. I got some lights, really nice lights to spruce it up. I got some other things that I can use to make it look nice. The one thing I need to do is get a good microphone for the podcast, and I think I'm good. I think I'm golden after that. I just gotta work on being a better presenter, talker as I go, and then yeah, who knows? Sky's the limit, right? Do you have a main topic for your podcast, or just whatever is going on? Yeah, it's almost like whatever's going on in my life, but it kind of is relevant to being an achiever, if that makes sense. So I'm fixing my life, and in that process, you can see, like, I tell a bit of my story and like a little bit of my failures and my successes, and then you can see where I'm coming from, and hopefully it makes sense. Like it makes sense what I'm talking about, And I look into these topics too. Every morning, I spend a good hour, 2 hours actually like reading up on it and getting a broad perspective before I dive in and start talking about it. and I try to use personal experience. But usually, yeah, it's something going on with my life that triggers the topic. I don't know, and it seems like every topic leads to the next. This last one was focus, and the one before that was goals, and the one before that was never quitting, having that attitude, right, of never quitting. It's just like a chain. It just, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to force it, because if I do, I tend to get derailed or something. It's like the most important is to be in alignment with myself and just let things naturally unfold and become aware. You know, what's the name of your podcast? I wasn't here when you mentioned. Oh, sure. It's called Discuss It with Lasso. Uh, you should be able to find it on my channel, right? I think there's a playlist list, and a podcast list. If you have trouble finding it, let me know. Um, but yeah, if you guys actually watch it, comment back and let me know what you think, what I can work on that you think would improve the podcast. Maybe some subject matters that you're interested, that I can dive into a couple hours and investigate, and then I can present it to you all if there's a topic you're interested in. I don't mind. I really don't, because I'm on the same journey. I like discovering things. I like looking at where my weak points are at, and just being honest with myself and learning whatever I need to learn to improve myself. Cool. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. This is like one of the first times I'm getting a lot of feedback on how my channel looks and is operating. I sometimes worry, like, that's the trick though. You can't overthink about what people think about you. You just kind of have to put yourself out there and hope for the best. Because I worry, like, what the heck do people think about me? Some people probably think I look weird, sound weird, talk weird, but who cares? Put yourself out there, and then it is what it is. you know. It scares me. Like, what, it does. This is the kind of thing where I'm committed. So that means to be successful on YouTube, you have to be hitting millions of views. Can you imagine, people? It's a lot easier to be talking to you all, but can you imagine talking to millions of people at a time? I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. That terrifies me. That terrifies the heck out of me. It's too much responsibility, it seems like. I don't know if I want that. But hey, if I like I said, the most important thing is to not overthink, not be scared. And if I'm in alignment with myself, that's all that really matters. The rest, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, and it doesn't matter, because, right, what matters is that you're happy, and this is the happiest I've been in a long time. I feel like a kid again, I feel like, I feel lightweight. I feel like I have energy, and just the fact that I'm found something that makes me laugh. Like, I'm working on something that I think is funny. I'll make a video, and once I put it together, like, I see it in my head and the concept makes me laugh, and then I put it together and I watch it. I'll watch it like 3 or 4 times because I'm laughing my ass off. I'm having a great time. I feel like a kid. And that was like, when I was a kid, that's exactly what I did. I was a kid with a camera, and I had some friends in the neighborhood. We would make shorts and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So I've always been this way. I'm not any different than I was, like, when I was younger. It's crazy to me how, if you allow yourself to be you, it just seemed that's where the magic is. That's what the world wants. The world doesn't want copycats. The world wants original. They want you to be you. That's so key. What do we got? Yeah, it's a hard job to become successful at, but the good part is that if you become successful, it's one of the funnest jobs, because you get to talk about what you love for a living. Yeah. Same with a podcast. Yeah. So what do you do, Maximum Depth? What's your? I mean, you don't have to tell me if it's private, but what's your field of career? Your focus? I'm just curious. I'm very curious. I've been all over the place. Like I said, I've been a theater kid, a film guy. I've had odd jobs as a janitor, uh, termite tech. I was a Walmart employee. I was a Dollar Tree employee, natural foods, natural grocers employee. I was, what else did I do? I've done lots of stuff. But one of the most interesting jobs was working as a production assistant on big movie sets like Killers of the Flower Moon, Reagan, Stillwater, Tulsa King. I've worked on all these productions and met a lot of people, a lot of crew, a lot of amazing local people, a lot of amazing outside people. Some not so good, but it's okay. You find that everywhere, I guess. Don't let them ruin the experience for you, as they say. Um, but yeah, I bet you guys probably find that interesting that I worked on movies. I mean, a lot of people do. Uh, and I made my own movie. I have a movie called Stray Kids that I wrote, produced, directed, and acted in and stuff. I edited it and I had my long term, long. This sounds weird when I say it. Long term friend and mentor who produced half of it, or at least helped, you know, with the filming as far as the camera and DP work and stuff. Which was I really without him, it would have been 5 million times harder, you know. Who's this Amish gangster? What's up? What's up? How's it going? Welcome, welcome. That's the funniest thing I ever heard. Joe Schmo 1. I'm hanging out. What can I say? I got this hat at Venice Beach, by the way. I was visiting Venice Beach. This is one of those summertime, has that netting, you know, very airy, very light. I started recently just busting out my hats. I have a hat collection. Isn't that funny? Yo, Los Angeles, what's up? Whoa, big time. Watch out. How's the weather over there? Is it nice and warm? How's the beach? Oh, I'm jealous. I'm already jealous. You got a beach over there? I'm in Beverly Hills. Wow. Oh, Venice Beach. Yeah, I love Venice Beach. I have not had the pleasure to go to Beverly Hills, but Venice Beach, I have had the pleasure. I love walking up and down, going to Santa Monica. I've been to the pier. I went to the American Film Market a couple of years back, and I guess now they're in Vegas, but they used to be in Santa Monica. And so I went, I got to experience all that madness and got an inside look of that business side. Really? Yeah. When I visited LA, yeah. I know. I've seen it. With my eyes. I've seen it. Yeah, that's one of the things that, yeah, sad, but you know, sometimes people are content, but not all of them, obviously. But some of them are just fine with their lives, but you know, some are not. You know, that's a whole man. Yeah, my heart goes out to those people for sure. I mean, what can I do? You know, nothing I can do. Really breaks my heart a little bit thinking about it. I don't like to see people suffer. I really don't. I don't. I really don't. But yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's a lot of, I noticed an incline in the amount of homeless people coming to Tulsa as well. There's a lot of people coming from different cities that are homeless here in Tulsa. They get stuck here. Um, But I don't know. Yeah, it's always going to be an issue. You know, everybody has to do their part, especially if you're in a position where you can do something. Sometimes you can do as little as buying somebody a meal. I've done that before one time. I should do it more often, but I've actually bought a homeless person a meal, just because they were there and they were obviously starving, and they didn't have to say anything. I bought a 2-for-1 sandwich deal. I had 2 sandwiches for one. I said, well, that deal is there. Why not? Right. So I got 2 sandwiches, gave him a sandwich, and he was so thrilled. I mean, sometimes that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Is that a Jeter? What? Fill me in on a Jeter. What? Well, I didn't care about how it felt, honestly. I mean, honestly, if you're genuine about helping somebody, you don't really think about that. But yeah, I guess it did. It felt good. But what was crazy was there was this guy who he was just kind of a third party. He was watching us, and he came to us and he's like, "Do you guys know each other?" He was talking to me. I was like, "No, no." And he looks at me and he's like, "And you just bought him food?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, "Well, I'll be damned." And he was like, he was confounded, and he was just like, he's like, "Wow." You know, yeah, it's amazing what a little kindness can do, for sure. You can show a little kindness and remind people that yes, kindness still exists in the world. It's not all, it's not all, you know, not everyone is out to get everyone. There is, I guess there are some earth angels out here. I'm not saying I am. I'm, you know, I'm as human as you could be. You know, I'm no earth angel, but I'm not a devil hellraiser. No, no, I'm a pretty good cat. I'm a good cat. I'm a pretty good cat. I'm a good cat. What did he say? There was a funny. Yeah, I'm in Oklahoma. Joe Schmo. Yes, yes, I'm in Oklahoma. There was a funny comment that Joe Schmo said that I have to look at. The funniest thing. What did you say? You said. Amish gangster. That cracks me up. You know, it's funny. I've taken the Amtrak to Los Angeles. A lot of fun. I love taking the Amtrak to Los Angeles. It's a lot of fun. It passes through Albuquerque. It stops at Albuquerque, and so that's a fun stop. Albuquerque's fun, but yeah, a lot of Amish take the Amtrak. That's surprising to me that you find a lot of the Amish people on the Amtrak. I didn't know they were that hip to train. Meet some Amish. I talked to them too. I had a conversation with one of them. He seemed pretty down to earth. He seemed like, yeah, it's just so weird. Down to earth, but also, you know, in his ways. Obviously, it's funny. It's funny how it can be so in their ways and not even know it. It's just funny to me. Yeah, traditions are important. They you know, they help you become the kind of person that has been established for years. You know, and the Amish have their own ways. But yeah. Anyways, what time is it? Yeah. All right. Literally 20 seconds left for a whole hour. So this has been an hour. This has actually been one of the funnest little vlogs. You know, it's kind of funny to have you guys comment and talk back. It's really fun. So I appreciate tonight. I had fun. It beats talking to myself to YouTube when there's nobody on. I've done that several times, but you know, that's almost like practice, I guess. All right, folks. Seriously, I'm gonna go to sleep. I have to go to sleep. I'm getting like zero sleep. I get up early, get to work, go to bed late. You know, if I wake up at 5 today, that means I'll get what, 3 hours of sleep, probably 3 4 hours of sleep. That's okay. Usually what happens is I'll be up for a while, and then I'll take a nap for a bit, and then like when 9 o'clock rolls around, I like start working out. I may go live when I work out. I haven't done a live workout in a while. They can be pretty intense. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, thank you, Sage. Sage, how do you say that with YT right there? Maximum Debt, Joe Schmo from Los Angeles, Beverly Hills. Y'all have a good night, man. Tune in next time. Hang out with me, chill out, and I'll be reflecting on tomorrow. I'll be tuning in midnight again to reflect on tomorrow. It's another battle, you know. You gotta keep the dogs at bay. That's what you do. You that's what you do every day. That's what it feels like every day is keeping those dogs at bay. Anyways, good night, folks. I had a fun time. Seriously, good night. Have a good night. Till next time. I've been Lasso. This is Lasso with Lasso's Passions. Good night, folks.